wait for to get a few people in the room. It's National Results Sunday Sermon. What time is it? 12:40. I ain't do a Sunday sermon in a while. Shay was good. So I want to just talk about what's the title? Harnessing the Power of Self-Belief. So growing up, I got inspired. I think it was like around 1997, 96. I met two guys, older guy, his name was Wayne Fannin, and another brother, um, Alameen. What's good, y'all? I'll get to any questions that y'all have. Can y'all hear me? If y'all can hear me good, I got on these AirPods. If y'all can hear me good, put a one. I just want to be able to sit back and talk to y'all like I want to, without worrying if y'all can hear me or not. If y'all can hear me, please put a one up. You can hear me good, okay? Cool. Okay, it was two people that set me on a path. I always had the entrepreneur spirit since I was young. My uncle was an entrepreneur. My brother was an entrepreneur. And I think I was a natural entrepreneur. And it was around the time in 1996 when I opened up my first barbershop. And there was two gentlemen who were like my mentors and they inspired me in business. It was Wayne Fannin and Lawrence Alameen. Um, they set me on reading the self-help books. They put me on to Think and Grow Rich. They put me on to Napoleon Hill. They put me on to just all those hosts of self-help books at the time. And it's those books kind of teach you how to think positive, think about what you want, and through the power of what would you call it? What word am I looking for? Just putting out the right energy and bringing what you want to yourself. I'm searching for a word. I'm a little foggy right now. But basically, reading those hosts of self-help books put me on a path of drawing all the desires and things I wanted to me. And after you do that for a certain amount of years, they say if you do 10,000 hours or 10 years, you become a master. You have mastery in a certain skill set, right? So I was definitely on that reading self-help books, and I think I mastered it over a point in time where I went from one barbershop to opening 11 barbershops in total. And along with that, doing other stuff like starting clothing lines and opening up a recording studio, managing, producing, just almost anything that I had passion in, I was able to have some success in. Now, with that, I got to the point where I started feeling lately in the last few years that anything within my reach that I could possibly have, and I have to be careful about what I say I want because it'll arrive even if I'm not ready for it, which leads me to where I am today. When I first, which I'm going to talk about the condo in Brazil, when I first, well, I was leaving about a year and a half ago, I was going to Brazil, and I read something or saw a quote, and it was like, it said, write down 5 things you want in the next 5 years or 3 years, right? And then it kind of narrowed it down from writing that to write what you want to happen in the next month. And then it said, write down what you want to happen if it could happen tomorrow. And I wrote down, get a international property, right? And that was like the day before I got on a plane to go to Brazil. And when I got to Brazil, I was hanging out with a friend, and she was telling me how at one point in time she was going to get an apartment in Rio. She's Brazilian karaoke, but she didn't live in Rio. And I remember asking her, What happened to your search for an apartment in Rio? What happened to that?" And she told me some things didn't fall through for her, and that she wasn't going to be able to get the apartment. And I said, but she said she did find something that she felt was a good deal. And she told me about 2 bedroom condo that was really good, for a really good price. And I said, do you think I could see it? Since she said she wasn't going to get it. She said, sure, I'll call the owner and see if she would allow you to see it. She called the owner, and we went that same day, I think. We went later that day. I met the owner. The owner spoke English. Yes, she was Brazilian, but she had worked in America for some years in construction. So she spoke English well. We were able to communicate. And she offered me the place for the same price that she had offered to my friend. So I got the local deal, not the gringo deal, right? So from there, I was like, wow, this looks like an opportunity. I started reaching out to people. So the first person I believe I reached out to, he wasn't the only one, but I remember reaching out to John Thompson. If anybody know, he's a kind of like a legendary guy out there. Like a lot of people know him from being out there for so many years, bringing a lot of American men there, hosting a lot of American men, providing apartments. At one point in time, he had over 100 apartments that he was renting out to foreigners coming to visit and stay in Rio de Janeiro. And he's been living there, I think, for like the last 15 years. So he's very well connected in Rio de Janeiro, in Brazil and Rio de Janeiro in particular. Everybody knows him who kind of like, if you didn't know him, you know him from the Frustrated documentary. Shout out to Al Greaves. And if you don't know him from there, you might know him if you used to go to Rio back in the days. Or, I guess anywhere from the 2000s up, I think he was there. So if it's some older guys that used to go back in the days, at some point in time, I think people have come in contact with him in some form or another. So I reached out to him because I figured he's been living here for 13, 14 years, 15 years. Maybe he would know someone. And he reached out. He said, yeah, I'm going to connect you with a friend of mine. His name is Augusto. And so I called Augusto. Augusto is another, I want to interview Augusto for you guys, but he's a native of Brazil. I believe he was born in Salvador, Bahia. So he's a black Brazilian, if you want to say that, or Afro Brazilian. And he said, sure, I'll help you. And part of his reason for helping me, or part of his inspiration or his energy to help me, because he said black men when I moved to America, and he used to work for the airlines for about 10, 15 years. He has a U.S. citizenship. He has an American daughter. Oh, nine. So also he speaks very good English, and he's a native. Excuse me. So he said yes. He also has property, and almost every. I think the two people who I think they worked in America. They understood the value of the dollar in comparison to the Brazilian real, and they utilized their opportunity to work in America to come back home and purchase property. So he has a few pieces of property as well. And he said, I'll introduce you to my lawyer, my attorney, a real estate attorney. So within a matter of a day or two, he introduces me. We speak a little more business with the owner of the property. He does his title search and everything. And next thing you know, he's drawing up a contract. This is the power of, you know, when you master it, whatever you want, it starts coming to you. So just like that, I wrote it down on the paper. I put it down, and as soon as I get there, within a matter of 2, 3 days, negotiation for international property, just like that. He checks everything, checks out. He writes the contract, sign the contract, and give her a deposit. This is how fast they're moving. Now the hurdles started coming when I was trying to get some form of ID. That was a hurdle. I wasn't able to do that. And then the other hurdle came with actually wiring the money. So since I was in Brazil, I didn't plan on buying a property. I didn't go out there to buy a property, but the opportunity came. Listen, I know some of you guys are probably really afraid to do things, but when you're a true entrepreneur, businessman, no risk, no gain. You know, you use your educated mind and you assess you assess what's in front of you and you make a decision. Scared money don't make no money, basically, if you want to put it in slang. So I try and wire the money to make this purchase. But I think because I was in Brazil and the banks wasn't fully operational, because this was like after COVID, they didn't wire the money. They said they did. They said they would. I waited for days. The money never came. So when I went home and straightened out the problem, they said, "Oh, we thought it was a fraud. That's why we never sent the money." But just by writing that down and believing it, within a matter of a week, I was in negotiation to buy property. Writing down, I want an international property. If it's something I can have tomorrow, I wrote down a property, international property, and I was in the midst of getting that within a week. And this is what I'm talking about: mastering and believing in yourself and the power of thought. Now, I eventually got the property, but I was so frustrated and afraid because my money was in limbo for like 2 weeks or more. So it kind of put a damper on the opportunity, and I just left it for a while. I didn't go back. I didn't pursue it anymore. Although she was still willing to do the deal, I was just so happy I got my money back that I was just like, forget it, you know? So the deal that I'm in is still the deal that was from before. She still applied my deposit, and the terms and everything's the same. And I got this property just from believing it, writing it down, and I'm not saying that it's going to happen for you right away, but when you start honing in on that thing you have, on your mastery, when you start honing in on your power of thought, when your power of thought gets that to that level, you're going to see like you have to be very careful of what you think about or what you want or what you draw to yourself. Now, I've been telling y'all a little bit about my. I'm going to do a little few changes for the channel starting in 2024 or right before 2024. And this is something I must have said about 3 months ago. I actually did a video explaining what my concept and idea was, right? So before I even revealed it to you guys, things just started falling in place because I'm at the level of mastery of whatever I think about, I want. It just starts falling in place. So I'm telling you guys this to start, and I would say the seed that planted the seed were the books, the self-help books, the the Think and Grow Rich, the Napoleon Hills, the Dale Carnegie books, How to Win Friends and Influence People. These are books that you guys, like any person, needs to read. It's just part of your development. If I was your mentor, you're my mentee, these are some of the first books I would tell you to pick up and read, study. Like anything else, when you start reading, and a lot of the books are saying similar things, but it puts your mind in a state of going, walking towards mastery of drawing things in you. Like that, what was that thing, that big thing that Oprah Winfrey brought onto her show, and everybody jumped on it? It was, what was that called? It was like a whole group, and Oprah Winfrey had them on her show, and she said that's how she manifestation. That's the word I've been looking for a while now. You manifest your thoughts into reality. You bring to fruition. Once you start getting into that zone and you master it, because these things are just going to start happening for you. And I don't mean maybe not things that are like wow, far within reach, but things, realistic things that you want will start happening for you once you get to that level of mastery. Now, some of the things that I set forth for the 2024, how I want to change the channel up a little bit, they're already happening. And I will go back and play that video for you. I still don't want to tell you guys exactly what it is, but I'm telling you it's already happening. Just by me saying it and believing in it, it's already happening. So, how much you get is about, come on, man, stop asking. That don't have nothing to do with the conversation I'm talking about. And then why would I just say that to everybody? It's not everybody's business. Be respectful and be thoughtful of your questions. This is a grown man channel. Even though I know I clown around sometimes, and I be messing around with the beautiful ladies, but this is a grown man's channel. So when you come at Zoe, think about what you're gonna say before you say it. You know. So yeah, I'm just trying to share with you guys. Those of you who may be in a position and a stage in your life where you think things are not going to happen to you or things are not working out for you, it definitely has a lot to do with how you think. How you think and what you think of yourself and what you believe is what you will manifest. So, and I'm not saying it's easy, because in the beginning I couldn't say I had this mind state, but it's from reading it over and over and over again. Um, you will start believing. And don't get all sensitive, man. I'm just trying to school you for the future. You know what I mean? It's not that important, and unless you're ready to buy a property and you're serious about it, don't worry about that right now. It's not that important. Uh, Tech and Peck. Yozo, what advice would you give for a person that has never been to Thailand before? I would say go to the Philippines first if you're interested in Southeast Asia, because Thailand is like the apex. And if you go to Thailand first and then go to the Philippines, you're going to be disappointed. But if Thailand is your ultimate goal and you don't care about the Philippines, I would say prepare yourself for the long flights. Prepare yourself for the hot weather. It might be surprising to you how hot and humid it is in Thailand. I would say take your time with the food, because a lot of food is very spicy and it can upset your stomach after a while, depending on how long you're staying. I would also advise stay at least 10 days. It's a long flight, and the first time I ever went, I stayed a week, which was a big mistake. I came home for my birthday for other people, and that was a mistake. I should have stayed and did something good with my time. For traveling that long, it didn't make no sense to come back in 1 week. So those are a few tips I would say when going to Thailand. You will be okay if you go to Pattaya because there are a lot of expats in Pattaya, and you'll find your way around. Uh, just bought my first condo in Santo Domingo, pre-construction, one bed right near the Malecon, so I know the feeling. All right, brother, and congratulations, brother. So I know this message hasn't been direct because I'm doing it live. I didn't write out everything on my all my thoughts, but I thought it's just something that's almost it's a tangible intangible. You know, it's not something that you could touch, but it's something you need in your life if you want things to start working out for you and working in your favor. You know, you have to, and I would say start with the self-help books. Start with those authors, Napoleon Hill, Dale Carnegie, and those stories, how they interview successful people all over the world. Some of the most successful people in the world, they've interviewed 50, 100 of them, and the stories align in some way. You gotta believe. You gotta start believing that it will happen. You know how they say those affirmations, you gotta say them. I've never been one to continue with the affirmations, the looking into the mirror every morning and saying things like I'm great, I'm successful. And I've never done that, but reading those books has changed my life. And it got me on that path of self awareness, of pulling things into fruition. So I would advise you guys to do that global paper. If this is a grown man's challenge, let's be honest, most black men will not be in a financial or emotional position to live overseas, travel, and live in. Well, this don't have nothing to do with that. This conversation has to do with it could be somebody that have no interest in traveling at all. It's just changing your thought will change the outcome. So I don't know see what that has to do with saying that people ain't going to travel. They're not in a position to travel. It don't really have nothing to do with that, in my opinion. Remember you saying you wanted a property in Cartagena. Are you still manifesting? No, I'm actually manifesting for Medellin. Cartagena got came off the table. So yeah, I'm still manifesting for Medellin. I'm still visualizing my a place in Medellin. So if y'all see me talking about that soon, well, I did at least get an apartment there. And I know that's a far cry from owning a property, but I found a place that was affordable and that was nice in a nice neighborhood to give me a feel of what it would be like to live in Colombia. So even that still, once I switched I almost bought a place in Barranquilla, but then I went to Medellin and I was like, no way. If I'm going to live in Colombia, if I'm going to buy something in Colombia, it's going to be in the best city. And I know there's a lot of violence, a lot of things going on, a lot of bad stuff going on, but I still believe it's one of the best cities in Medellin. I mean, in Colombia, Medellin. It's one of the best cities. So, and once I put my mind on getting an apartment, that happened within like a week. So, yeah, that's how things are working. I said I wanted a place in Thailand. It's happening. So, and this was all part of my plan, my strategy for 2024. So I have an apartment in Pattaya, Thailand. I have an apartment in Medellin, Colombia, and I own an apartment in in Rio de Janeiro. Just from saying I wanted it, putting it in part of my plan for the future, and I didn't even think I would get all of this accomplished before. 2024. So all of this has been accomplished before 2024. Just for me speaking it into existence about 2 or 3 months ago. I was sitting outside of my Airbnb in Barranquilla, Colombia at the time when I came up with this concept. Uh, AJ said, I remember you talked about it and boom, it happened. You spoke all this into existence. Much love for you. Thank you, AJ. Do you B&B? I'm going to Airbnb my place once I do the full renovations, but I'm going to wait until after Carnival where, I'm going to make some money now, but I'm not going to put it on Airbnb until it's up to the standard that I want it to be. So yeah, so that was the message today about manifesting your thoughts and changing your life through believing and putting the right energy out there. Like they say, you got to see it to be it. You got to see yourself in these places. And I told you a long time ago that Thailand, Colombia, and Brazil was the big three for me. Uh, three cities that I love, that I like, that I enjoy, that has enough chutzpah in it to get me to stay. Like, I'm a New Yorker, so it's hard being in New York where so much goes on. It's fast life. Everything's at your fingertips. It's hard to find places that could keep a New Yorker, energy going and vibe going. And these cities are big enough and fast enough to keep me interested, keep me going. The gang, the gangster lifestyle. What's going on, Joe? I have a trip coming up to Cartagena, but I really want to hit Medellin for a couple of days. Can you elaborate a little more on what's going on in Medellin? Well, it's goodness. Murders, druggings, and robberies. And, it's happening too frequently, and it's been reported that, it's happening to tourists, mostly, not most so much expats, but tourists. So it's kind of living back up to its dangerous persona that it had back in the day. Oh, New York? Yes. I mean, I have a house in New York. So, yeah, I don't have any plans on selling my house. It's almost like a two-family, so I could rent out part of it, So, yeah, I have no plans on selling my house at this point. That's just not even, nah, you know. But yeah, I just have an empty house for now. But I'm about to rent out a part of it. But yeah, so that's it. That's it. The floor is open if y'all got any questions before I get out of here. I just want to share that. So should we fall back off of Medellin for right now? That's all in you guys' opinion, like people say yes, stay away. But there's people who live there and there's people who go there. Medellin had over almost 2 million visitors last year. And I don't know, man. I don't know. I would say if you just going there for the girls, then maybe you should go somewhere else. But if you're going there to visit it for the first time, do the Comuna 13, do the Guadape, or if you have an established female that you deal with there, you should be all right, But if you just going there to go to the park and go and get some girls, then I would say it's not worth it. I'm going because I have an apartment there that I'm working on a concept for my channel. I have reasons to be there. I made some investments in it in Medellin, so I have reasons to go, and it's not going so I could go to the park and get girls. Thanks for the message, brother. What kind of business did you run and to be able to live? I had a chain of barbershops. Yeah, so yeah, but it's up to you. It's not going to stop people from going. I don't think it may slow people down, which I respect that too. Romeo International, sir, where are you doing your live stream right now? In which I, I'm at I'm in Miami. I'm heading to Medellín. I'm in Miami right now. Since you have properties in Colombia, Brazil, Thailand, and can Cam only pick one? Which one would it be out of those three? If I had to only pick one, it would be Brazil. I think Brazil encompasses almost everything I need, and let me tell you why. Some people agree that Medellin is the best city, right? The weather, and they say the mountains, the landscape. And then some people say, I can't do Medellin because I need water. So some people say Cartagena, I need a beach. And we all know that Cartagena doesn't really have a nice beach. The best beach probably in Colombia is not even in Colombia, really. Although Colombia owns the territory of San Andreas, which is more in the Caribbean. So when you think about Medellin's a metropolitan city, trains, planes, automobiles, right? But in Medellin, well, for me as a black man, you stand out. You may blend in a little more if you're in the coast, Santa Marta, Barranquilla, Cartagena, Choco, stuff like that. Now, if you go to Rio de Janeiro, you have the mountain, you have Sugarloaf, you have Christ the Redeemer, you have all these mountainous backgrounds. So you have the mountains, you have the landscape, you have the metropolitan city. You also have beaches, beautiful beaches galore, right? And then you also have a nice mixture of people where you walking around as a black man, you blend right in. So to me, and Brazil is almost as large as America. So even if I were to move to Rio, I could spend the next 10 years or 5 years visiting other states and cities throughout the country. So if I had to pick one, it would definitely be Brazil and Rio in particular. So that's how I break it down, which puts it on the top for me. What takes Thailand off the top is too far, and it is a culture, a big culture gap. And the only black people you really gonna see is other black foreigners. So yeah, airline's your favorite airline to travel? I don't have a favorite airline, but I have one that I will not travel, and that is Spirit. Besides Spirit, I will take almost any airline that has a good price. You know, like this trip, I took United to Miami, and it's in a connecting flight with Latam. So from Miami to Medellin, it's Latam. I caught the ticket like that. Go with Paper Miles and Bob with J. Clyde. Salute. What's up, J. Clyde? No, I'm not going to Thailand now. Next month I'll be in Thailand. Maybe for the next 2 months. So it's still November. Or I'll be in Southeast Asia. Let's just say that. But yeah, I'll be in Thailand at some point in time. I see there's more people in the room now, but we finished with the subject matter at hand. But I'll give y'all a few more, minutes if y'all got some questions. Zoe is Thailand, that lit. Plan on going there soon. Young SC. I enjoy Thailand. I definitely enjoy it. You got, and it's a lot to see. There's like this time when I go back, I'm gonna go to two cities that I've never been to, or two part. I never been to Chiang Mai. I never been to Koh Samui, another like beach city. So it's a lot to see. There's a lot to see even in Bangkok. It's not that much to see in Pattaya, but you got Phuket, you got Phi Island, you got James Bond Island, and then you just got the beach, the Bangla Road. Man, it's a lot to explore, but it's heavy on the fun for the guys if that's what you want. What haven't you done Australia because it's far and it's expensive. I had it on my itinerary, and I I just I'll get there though. It's on my itinerary, and it's a long, 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 long. It's longer than going to Thailand, man. It's a long ass trip. New Zealand, never haven't been on my plate. AJ, do you do one way when you travel Colombia around? I do one way. I do one way a lot of times because like I was able to get this ticket for $208. I thought I was gonna have to pay extra for my bag, but I didn't. So I got a one way. I did have a stop, kind of long layover here in Miami, but it was $208 to go from Newark to Medellin. $208. That's a pretty cheap flight, and I got window seats on both planes. Do you have kids, Mr. G? You have kids? You ever had a family? Yeah, I've had. I got kids. My daughter's 22. My son's 24, and I was married and in a relationship for 20 years. So I've done all of that. So if I have any more kids, I'm not getting married again. So I guess they're gonna be bastards. I did it the right way the first time. I have nothing to prove anymore. Although I will take care and support my kids. But yeah, I've done that already. So I'm experienced in that world. Newark to Medellin on what airline? I said from Newark. I've got a flight from Newark to Miami on United, and now I'm flying from Miami to Medellin on Latam. JustFly.com. That's where I book most of my tickets. Have you ever visited Germany? Yeah, I've been to Frankfurt, Germany. It was last year or the year before. Did my Euro step. It was the year before last. I didn't feel like it was a whole bunch of German women that loved us when I was in Frankfurt. But then it depends what city you go to. But I didn't get that feeling, and it was right after COVID, so I don't know. Global Go Getter. Oh, he's talking to TD. Tita. You met Bo Rakes in Germany. I already knew Bo Rakes, but he was in another part of Germany, and when he heard I was there, he took the train and we hung out for the day. That's my dude. I ain't seen him in a minute. I've been getting people calling me from uh, uh, Dominican Republic. A couple girls. When you coming back? I haven't seen you in so long. You know what it's starting to feel like? Now you feel like it's not enough hours in a day. It's starting to feel like it's not enough days in the year for me to get to all the places I want to go to within that year now. Like I've been trying to get to the DR this whole year, but my plans just haven't really, and it's right there. I could have take a weekend trip there, but I've been so busy traveling and having pre itineraries that I haven't been able to make it there. Look, I went to Argentina, I went to Chile, I've been to Colombia a couple times. Did I go to any other? Yeah, I went to uh, this year too. I went to Vietnam. I went to Singapore December of last year, and then again January this year. So I think I've been about 3 to 4 new countries this year. But yeah, time flies. Time flies. So I'm in the this is the Turkish Lounge in uh, Miami Airport, and I was able to come here and get Let me show you. I was hung, come here, eat and drink for free, TVs, everything, with my Premier Pass. I got my Premier Pass. You can get your Premier Pass if you have a American Express Platinum. That gets you into some lounges. Other lounges, you have the American Express. What's it called? The Centennial card. American Express has lounges. American Airlines has lounges. Like certain airlines, I have my United Lounge passes. So when you travel and you want to get your passes to get in these lounges, you can hang out here all day. You can have free Wi-Fi. You can eat all day. You can drink all day. You can sit in a comfortable couch. Some of the lounges have showers. Some of them have sleeping rooms. Some of them have theater rooms. So this is something to add to your travel itinerary. Centurion Lounge. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Rick. I want to stay in Thailand for a while, but the flat asses are the they have with Philly Don. What's good, brother? If you've never been to Thailand, they have women with shapely bodies too. There's a lot of women who have a typical slim body frame, as a lot of Asians do, but they have girls with really nice shapes. Now you probably gotta go to 808, but they have them. Trust me, they have enough to keep you happy. For real. I ain't playing. I'm gonna show y'all some on this trip. Y'all didn't see the girl that's on my thumbnail for my Thailand Tinder swipe? You see she's shapely, right? You've been in New York City for a couple months. I see you've been doing that migrant thing. I don't know what's up with Eric Adams. I don't know what's up with that mayor with all these migrants, man. That it's crazy, man. It's crazy. So what about Cabo Verde? Okay, you know what? My boy Dennis John Pierre. Shout out to him. He just was there. He said it was lame, man. People keep telling him go to Cape Verde, Cape Verde, and this brother speaks Portuguese. He did not give that high rating, and I guess he went because he speaks Portuguese. So it's very easy for him to communicate, but he didn't have high ratings about Cape Verde. So I'm putting that on the back burner. I'm putting that on the back burner. That's not a high priority anymore. So y'all can stop hollering Cape Verde to me. It's crazy. I have my son going to school in New York. Oh, word. Damn, I'm gonna be back maybe 2 days before I go to Thailand. I'll try to hook up with you on Philly Dom. Check out my boy Philly Dom channel if you're not familiar with him. Great guy, great content creator. Met him in Mexico when I was there for Marwar's 100,000 subscriber party, and we've been cool ever since. Cape Verde is lame. Master G. New York City is definitely crazy. I be feeling like I'm in Colombia now. Yeah, I heard some people said that Venezuelans and them girls are down there doing the same thing in New York. So now cats, y'all ain't even gotta go to Medellin. They in New York. I definitely know a couple chicks from Colombia that made it to the U.S. and they ain't trying to go back. They're not trying to go back at all. Yep. I think they in Queens. Yeah, somebody said that. But you haven't been in Queens, have you, Philly Dom? Where you been hanging out? Yeah, Laos is on my list of Southeast Asian countries. I'm trying to get to Laos and I'm trying to get to Malaysia, Madagascar. I looked into Madagascar when Tailor Dreams and them was going, but what I researched, man, it's very poor, rundown, and it's like a Sasua. I don't think I want to go all the way to an African country just to go to a Sasua. You know what I mean? Like, nah, I'd rather go to a different country in Africa with some real substance. You know what I mean? I'm not going there just to manga. And I heard they ain't really got that much more going on than that. So I decided not to go. But it's hard getting there. and it's hard getting there. Yeah, but I was gonna fly to South Africa, and then I saw a flight from South Africa there. So I had a way to get there, but I just changed my mind. It just didn't seem worth it, and it wasn't cheap either. And I ain't seen no pictures that they brought back of some fine women or nothing. Like when you go somewhere and it's a fine woman, people gonna bring back some pictures. People gonna put some videos in the WhatsApp groups or something. And everybody was, like they try. I think people try to gas things too. Sometimes they go places and they want you to believe like, oh, it's lit. Like I went to Chile and I ain't going back. I don't need to go back. You know what I'm saying? Like certain places, you know what I mean? People go to these other places. They think, oh, you're just going for the women. There's enough to do besides the women to make you go back. There's enough comfort there. There's enough going on. There's enough, I guess, expats, everything in certain places to make you go back and have fun and build relationships with people. Like when I go to Rio, I know I'm gonna see some brothers from the States. I'm gonna hang out with some people. The same vibe that you could get in Sosua, the same vibe you could get in Medellin. And you get in these places where it's brothers who live there. It's enough people there for you to hang out with, even if you go alone. Kenya looks like it too. Women are super thick. Yeah, Kenya is definitely high on my list. Austin losing his mind in Poland and Romania. Said, man, boring. Yeah. Oh, well, I applaud him for going. I applaud him for keep on moving. He is definitely moving around, and I applaud him for that. He is moving, and that says a lot. He's covered a lot of ground in a short amount of time. A lot of dudes in these spaces saying, "Yo, Chile is popping." I didn't see that, and I was in Santiago. I was in the biggest capital city. It was cool, but popping, I couldn't say it was popping. But then again, I was only there for a week. But you got to impress me in a week too. Like I will definitely go back to Argentina, but Chile ain't high on my list. I'd rather go back to Argentina than go back to Chile. I will be going back to Argentina actually. What's the best long-term stable spot? I couldn't say. I couldn't say. What's up with Chile? Kind of boring. Yeah, it was. And people were saying Argentina is a little bit racist. I felt funny vibes in Chile, honestly. I felt more funny vibes in Chile than Argentina. So, yeah. And it seemed like way more stuff to do in Argentina. Way more stuff. Way more accessibility, way more development. But they're like neck and neck when it comes to their economy. Well, Argentina used to be the number one economy in Latin America, South America. Where's the cheaper neighborhood in Rio to rent like 10, 15 minutes bike ride from the main beach? But cheap? Botafogo is maybe like a 10-minute taxi ride. It's probably cheaper there. Copacabana is cheaper than Ipanema, and then the next highest is LeBlanc. The neighborhoods behind that and all that, I'm not familiar with those other neighborhoods where more of the locals live. I'm not familiar. I couldn't tell you, but I'm not staying. I don't go past. Usually when I rent there, I ain't going past Avenida Nosa when it comes to renting. I want to be one block from the beach at most, maybe two. I want to, walk right to the beach. So, probably I've seen places that's 400 and 500 for a month, but they're real humble. You know what I'm saying? Like real humble. What's the average price for rent in a nice spot? Kurt Hagan. It depends on the season. If you're talking about Rio, right now it's high season and it could be expensive. In low season, but then you got cool weather, you got rainy days. But right now, you're gonna pay at least 500 for a week. Right now, it's high season. You'll be lucky to find a place under $500 for 1 week in Rio in any of the major neighborhoods. Costa Rica, Belize might be interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna get to Belize. Costa Rica is cool, but Costa Rica it could be boring. But if you go in there to manga, you can have a good time. Salute, Barbara. I've been a supporter of your channel for quite some time. I appreciate you for the inspiration and the motivation. I can't wait to start traveling. Amaru. Thank you, brother. Hottest girls in Asia and hottest girls in South America. They're all the same. Girls in Cambodia look similar to girls in Thailand. Philippines got a little different look. You go to Singapore, all of them is there. Uh, similarities. But I would say if I had to pick one, it's going to be the Philippines or Thailand. Thailand before the Philippines. When in Rio, I'm a fan of staying in Barra de Tijuca. Not me because it's too far, and it's not that much to do up there. Like if you lived in Rio or you live in other parts and then you get money and you want to retire, like to me, Barra de Tijuca is like the suburbs. And anybody who goes stay in Barra de Tijuca, you still see they bring their ass down to Copacabana. But you could stay in Copacabana or Ipanema and never go to Baja de Juca. You know what I'm saying? It's like Copacabana, Ipanema, that's like being in Manhattan. Being in Baja de Juca is like being in Queens. You know what I'm saying? Like it's you could ask somebody from Harlem and I ain't never been to Queens. You know what I'm saying? It's not a must. People who live there, you could if you there, you got to stay there. You get stuck in traffic. I went there to get some things for my apartment, man. A couple of times I went. I went to my boy's crib there. You get stuck in traffic there. I don't. That's the new thing for everybody. Go to Baja. Go to Baja. I don't like it. I could care less about Baja than Jujuka. I honestly can't. And it's more bougie up there. So maybe you might want to go to All In or that other new club. But outside of that, if you stay for a week, you could go up there once and to a club and be cool. But you know, only time you go to Queens from JFK, I see. Right, she better. You know, so I don't know if you like it, cool. Panama is cool. Panama is cool. Panama is cool. I've been to Panama twice. Got a decent nightlife, and Panama got things to see. Unlike Costa Rica, I went to their rainforest and all that stuff. Panama, you can go to the Panama Canal. You can go Centro Costera. You could go to Cholon. You can go to the indigenous islands with indigenous people. What's it called? There are things to do in Panama more than, and they're both Central America, more than Costa Rica. And they have the girls too. You know, so I would I would put Panama over Costa Rica. Not yet. I already have my well, I have to stay in the US for 1 month or stay in Colombia for 1 month so the guy could process my digital nomad visa. But I haven't been able to stay in either place for 1 month yet. So when I have probably next year, I'll process my digital visa. I'm sticking Colombia and Brazil for right now, and I'll probably slide to Panama. Yeah, Panama and that. But I only gonna do Thailand if my man does his retirement party. Oh, Okay. Razor Rays is going to Costa Rica, Hotel Del Rey. They reopened it. My first time going to Costa Rica, I think it was 2019, and I stayed at the Del Rey. And then I went again maybe like last year. But yeah, you don't want to stay at the Del Rey. He shouldn't stay there. I would tell him to stay at that other casino hotel. What's the name? There's one better. Del Rey is beat up. I know they probably remixed it, but I believe it's still beat up. You don't want to stay at the Del Rey. Stay at that other spot. I forget the name of it. Tell Razor Rays to call me. He don't want to stay at the Del Rey. If you go to Turkey, try Bodrum. I didn't really like Istanbul. Okay. Yo, tell us the illest story for experience you've ever had. With what? Traveling? Like what kind of story? I would have to think about, but what kind of story? Story. Story with a chick or story? I did all kind of stuff. I went to crazy things I shouldn't have done. Okay, I'll tell y'all one real quick. That was last year or the year before. I went to South Africa. I went to Cape Town first for a week, and then I went to Johannesburg. Right now, I was there. I was having a little fun. Met a couple shorties, but it's this famous like building. It's like a club, and it's big. And then they got rooms upstairs. Got girls there, but it's dangerous. So I catch a Uber. I didn't, people told me when I got home or when I let people know who lived there or who been there that I went to, it's something tower or something like that. I go in there, I'm by myself, right? It's, they got a pool table, they got girls walking around, they got girls dancing on stages. It's mad dudes and it's mad Africans in there. I'm sticking out like a sore thumb. I might have the same complexion and everything, but my style was way different. And they looking at me. I'm dolo, and there's probably about 200 people in this place. So I'm like, yo, that's what I do, man. I go solo. I've done all kind of crazy stuff by myself. So this is in Johannesburg, South Africa. But then when I'm in the Uber heading there, it's like we passing these projects. We passing these projects. Like like I guess has anybody ever been to Casa Black in Rio? Like when you start getting closer to Casa Block, you start passing these favelas and stuff like that. Similar situation. I'm passing these like dark projects and everything. So I get to the spot and it's hood, it's hood. But I'm like, I'm here. Hey, get me a little drink, walking around, looking at the girls, So Zoe, I had to sample one of them chocolate mangoes. So I go upstairs. She got a room upstairs, a rickety elevator, everything. The room is all big, but like, like I felt like I was in a 1970. The room looked like somebody in the 1970s, yo. And I just felt like something was going to happen to me the whole time. But Shorty was cool. I like the lingo she said. She said something about me being handsome, and she could tell when I was younger I was more handsome and all this. So whatever, we do the thing, we do the deed, right? So I come down stairs in the elevator with her or whatever, and I'm calling an Uber, and she's like, "You can't get no Uber." I'm like, "What are you talking about? I can't get an Uber." She said, "If an Uber come in this block, those guys outside will shoot them." And I'm like, She don't know what she's talking about, right? So I call the Uber and I go outside, and the Uber get close. I tell them where I am, and the Uber says I can't go down that block. I said, what? He said, I can't go down that block. So I go to the corner. I said, all right, well, meet me at the corner. So I go to the corner. There's a dude on the corner. He said, yo, get from this corner and stand in front of the club. Get off this corner, stand in front of the club. Like, yo, don't stand here. You're going to get got, right? So I go back in front of the club, and she told me, you're going to have to take one of those dudes outside. Mind you, the dudes outside charge double what the Uber costs, right? So this dude got like a old 1985 3 Series or something like that, BMW. I mean, old, right? So he charged me double. So I get in the taxi, and he's driving, but he's driving. I don't know if he was driving slow because the car was old, but I mean, the streets was abandoned. It was dark. I thought he was trying to like set me up. I thought I was going to get robbed. I really thought, and I've been in quite a few situations in countries by myself where I'd be like, today's the day. He's driving through these old projects, mad slow. Cars is driving behind us, passing us. I'm like, yo. But he got me there. He got me there. But, and then I tell my man that lives there, he said, you went there by yourself? And my other man who been there, he was like, you went there by yourself? Damn, I can't remember the name of the spot. It's something tower. It's like a big building. But yeah, so that was a story of me in South Africa. It wasn't like equivalent of a casa or nothing, but it was like a big club with strippers and girls walking around scantily dressed and rooms upstairs. But I heard about it, and I said I want to go. I want to see what it's about. Like I had it on my list of things to do. Matter of fact, if I wasn't talking, I could go on my notes for South Africa and tell y'all the name. But anyway, that was one of my ill stories about traveling dolo by yourself and getting yourself into possible bad business. And I remember that's the first time I heard a girl say, she said, "You want me to eat your thing? You want me to eat it?" And I was like, "What?" But that's what they say in Africa. They say eat it. They don't say suck it. They say eat it. Oh, I went. I took a tax. I took a Uber. I took a Uber there, but it was earlier. But they was like, you can't get no Uber out of there. So I guess because the guys who in front, they can't bring you there because they live around there and they work around there. So they let the Uber bring you there, but you can't leave in no Uber. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's the story, man. I know well, you gotta realize the adrenaline that was going in my body when I was, first of all, when I was in there, then I went upstairs and then taking that old, old 85 3 Series BMW ride back home was crazy. But yeah, when you travel by yourself, I got a couple occasions like that. That's just was crazy being by yourself. And I think when you by yourself, you tend to do more things because you don't want to be in your hotel room or your Airbnb by yourself. You be like, I'm getting into something tonight. And that's exactly what happened. Exactly what happened. So, but I think that's enough story time for the day, y'all. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. Uh, Big Rob, what's good, player? All right, but yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed that story along with the Sunday sermon. Those are what's popping. Where you off to? Greetings from Latin America. As travel. I'll be there in a minute. I'll let y'all know. Good one, bro. That was why Brazil would be crazy for me. So navigating dangerous hit areas ain't used to. You want me to eat? Yeah, that's what she said. And I was like, what? But I'm starting to hear, and this was like over a year ago, but I'm starting to hear that terminology more often now. But that was the first time I heard it when I was in South Africa. She was a bad little joint too, and she wasn't even from South Africa. She was like from one of them nearing countries. I forgot which one. She wasn't even from South Africa. Oh, I definitely said yes. Don't matter, just don't bite it. Shout out to my man Easy and MC Red. Who was on that joint together? It was the Easy and Red. Slow is the info. The talk about it. Yeah, so that was that, y'all. Uh, Definitely thanks. Don't forget to like and stay tuned because we about to rev it up. We about to rev it up international. So things gonna go according to plan.